Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I have kind of resolved an issue, and I was actually surprised, but the issue was with this lens here. This is the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter wide angle lens. This lens I purchased back when I was using the Nikon D7200. When I first purchased the lens, I really liked it. I was having a lot of fun with it, getting some great shots. Either a fault of my own. Now, I don't know if it was a result of doing a firmware update on the Nikon D7200 or if I inadvertently took the lens off when the camera was still on to switch to a different lens. I don't know if that created the problem, but the problem is that lens with the Nikon D7200 will not autofocus in the live view. It'll autofocus fine through the viewfinder, but if I try to autofocus in live view, it will not work. And it's a known issue, or at least that's the way the issue sort of presented itself to me from all the YouTube videos that I was watching on it. Because I would do a search of Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter not focusing in live view, something to that effect. Some people posted videos of trying to focus in live view, and it would go from infinity all the way to 0.79 or 0.24. Is that going to focus in there? Yeah. So when they tried to, when they had it in live view and they were focusing, this would just continually go back and forth like that. It would do that when you were trying to autofocus in live view. For the D7200, when I was not in live view, it would autofocus perfectly fine. It would lock in and it would stay focused and I wouldn't have an issue. The only problem with that is if I was taking a shot really low to the ground, I couldn't use live view, so I would have to turn live view off, and then I would have to hit the back button focus and then take the picture and then check it after to see if my composition was in focus. The other issue, even though the LCD on the D7200 doesn't flip up like it does on the Z7 II, so it was kind of irrelevant in a way. I mean, although it would have been easier to be able to focus in on live view and then just sort of look down and look at the LCD display on the back of the D7200, and I could see that it was in focus and then take my shot. But again, because it wasn't autofocusing in live view, I had to shut the live view off, and then I couldn't get down low to the ground and look through the viewfinder because it's just like I'm probably like maybe a foot off the ground, have the tripod all, the legs all spread out, and my composition all lined up for something that was like a composition like trying to do like some of the shots I did were low to the ground with pebbles in the foreground and then a water body and trying to do like a long exposure or something like that. Anyways, it was a real pain trying to deal with that. I still managed to get my shots and they turned out okay, but it was just a struggle. So anyways, I recently purchased this. Is that going to focus in? So yeah, the Nikon FTZ II mount adapter. So this is used to hook up to the Z series cameras, like my Z7 II. I keep saying Z or Z. I say Z because I talk to a lot of Americans in my job. So if I say Z or Z, you know what I mean. Anyways, so the FTZ II mount adapter, you can mount that to a Z series camera, and then you can mount your F mounts to the adapter and utilize those lenses. So I can use my 18 to 300 millimeter lens. I can use my 40 millimeter macro lens, and of course the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens. Now, when I bought the FTZ II mount adapter, obviously I started playing around with it, and I was curious whether or not the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens would actually work in live view, and to my surprise, it's working. So that kind of throws everything out the window in regards to people saying that the problem was the lens. In my situation, the problem is the D7200. It's weird because live view works perfectly fine with these lenses. With the 18 to 300 millimeter lens, the autofocus works perfectly fine, and with the 40 millimeter macro lens, it works perfectly fine with that. But if I put the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens on, it will not autofocus in live view. But with this new setup, I can now use the 10 to 20 millimeter with the Nikon Z7 II, and I can use live view, and it works. Now, the other reason I bought the FTZ II mount adapter was I wasn't really in the market to buy like a 100 to 400 millimeter Z mount lens, and I figured if I wanted to, why not just buy this for $329 Canadian before tax, and save myself a pile of money by being able to utilize my 18 to 300 millimeter lens. So that's really the reason why I purchased that. Actually, I ended up going upstairs because the weather is so crappy outside. I ended up going upstairs and doing some tests with this. So what I did was I put the D7200 with the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens on to show you the issue with trying to autofocus in live view, to show you the issue that I've been having with that. And then I put it on the Z7 II with the FTZ II mount adapter, showing how it works with that and how the autofocus works in live view perfectly fine. So I'm going to show you guys that now. So the conclusion of all of this is the issue for me, for my situation, is not the lens. The lens is perfectly fine, the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens. The issue is with the Nikon D7200, and I don't know if I created the problem when I was either, because I've done this a few times where you want to switch lenses and you forget to turn the camera off, and by the time you realize it, it's too late. And I don't know if that can cause problems by unmounting your lens from the camera when the camera is still on. So I don't know if that created a problem with the D7200 and that lens, which is weird though, because like I said, live view works perfectly fine with the 18 to 300 and the 40 millimeter macro. It still works perfectly fine with those. The other thing is, I'm not sure if I mentioned, I made sure that, I don't know if the problem kind of happened after doing a firmware update on the D7200, and I tried to see if I could roll back the firmware, and you can't. So I'm not sure if a firmware update caused the problem with the D7200 and the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens. Either way, I could never resolve the issue, and I wasn't about to do what some other people did on YouTube, where they took the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens apart. And I'm not 100% sure, although I'm pretty sure when I saw that YouTube video that the guy said that he was having the same problem. But he took the lens apart and he was able to fix the issue. And I don't know if he was using a Nikon camera or a Canon or a Sony. And that's the other thing, is other people with the 10 to 20 millimeter lens with the Sony mount or the Canon mount, there's people out there that have ran into that same problem where it will not autofocus in live view. Anyways, my problem is sort of solved. I can't use it in live view with the D7200 still, which I'll show you upstairs, but it does work in live view with the FTZ II mount adapter and the Nikon Z7 II. Autofocus in live view with the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens works, and I'm going to show you guys that now. So that's basically it. Yeah, I'll show you guys that now. Okay, all right, I'll see you upstairs. Okay, so I think that's coming through on now. So with the D7200 in live view, I hit the back button focus. I try to focus and it will not focus at all. It never focuses in. It might focus, no, see, it's not focusing in. And I've tried doing this, just pressing the button and releasing right away, and it's not focusing. Like it'll focus, but it won't hold it. Now if I take it out of live view, hit the autofocus, go back to live view, now it's perfectly in focus. I can take the photograph. And there you can see it's in focus, but that was when it's not in live view. Okay, so now I'm going to hook up the Z7 II with the FTZ II mount adapter, and you'll see that in live view it focuses perfectly fine. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, so now we have the Nikon Z7 II with the FTZ II mount adapter and the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens. So in live view, if I hit the back button focus, you'll see right there, it locks in, it stays green. Take my photo and it works perfectly fine. No issues at all. And it's not going back and forth on the Sigma lens where it was with the D7200. So that's it. The issue is resolved. So that's it, guys. That totally worked out perfectly fine with the Z7 II, the FTZ II mount adapter, and the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens. It focuses in perfect like that, but and as you saw with the D7200, it just doesn't work. So anyways, I'm glad I've got that sorted. I know the issue isn't with the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens. The issue was with the D7200 itself, and like I said before, I don't know if that was a result of a firmware update I did on the D7200 or if it was created when I took the lens off without turning the camera on when I was switching lenses. I don't know if that created the problem, because everything I watched on YouTube, nothing really shows you what the cause of it is. It's just that other people have the same issue, whether you're using it with a Sony or a Canon or a Nikon. A lot of people have ran into that problem where the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens on those cameras will not autofocus in live view. But with this setup, the Nikon Z7 II, the FTZ II mount adapter, the Sigma 10 to 20 millimeter lens will autofocus in live view, no problems at all. Alright, so that's it. Hit the thumbs up, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next video. Talk to you later. Bye for now.